What's going on, guys? It's DB the Prophet, and I'm shooting this video today. I want to talk about two important things. The first is that as a black community, because I've been on some black activist shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like restoring myself into the black community, you feel what I'm saying, gave me a new state of mind, a new spirit, so to speak. And I don't remember who the author was, but somebody said in a quote, you feel me, a black man finds his soul in a black woman. You feel what I'm saying? So there's two things I want to talk about. The first is going to be, and I got paint all over my hands, I'm painting my cabinets, and I just wanted to come on here and shoot a quick video and offer some value. So the two things I wanted to talk about on this video are going to be, the first is that as a community, we do not value ownership enough, right? We don't value ownership. The second is we overvalue money and undervalue each other. You hear me? So let's talk about this. So the first concept is we don't value ownership. When we look at other communities as a whole, you'll see that in other communities, they value ownership. They value ownership within their community. What do I mean by this? If a Mexican American were to opening a painting business, the Mexican Americans who are not being paid as much, you feel what I'm saying? They're gonna go work for another Mexican to make their paper. They're not gonna go out and get a job working for the white man. They're not gonna get a job and go work for blacks, because they have cultural pride. See, the biggest issue with black Americans is because we've been displaced from where we're really from, because we don't know who we really are, right? That's why we're labeled black. Black is a color, it's not an ethnicity. And when you think about the old, the old saying, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. We don't have a strong enough culture to differentiate us from people who have the same skin color as us. So we think that just by being black, we should be on the same team. Wrong. All black people don't have the same principles, values, knowledge, wisdom, etc. Right? So developing a sense of identity is at the core of us valuing ownership in the business world. I think about this all the time. For me personally, before I became a felon, I employed people of all different races. I had a solar sales business, you feel what I'm saying? It's essentially a marketing company. And at the end of the day, what I realized in America is that it's not just about owning a business. It's not just about being in a position to hire anybody. It's about who can you hire, right? So in the Mexican community, they prioritize their own people before they prioritize outsiders for work. And most people of other races will find work inside their community before they find it outside their community. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and it doesn't matter what race it is. Black people are the only people who don't practice group economics because we've been displaced culturally. Once you're displaced culturally and you don't have a cultural identity, right, you'll overvalue money, undervalue each other. You feel what I'm saying? So let's talk about this concept of ownership. In our community, a black person will be more likely to go get a higher paying job from a white person than they are to go get a lower paying job with a black person that's a new entrepreneur. I never ever seen anybody in our community go look and be like, I'm gonna go work at that black restaurant that just opened downtown, even though they can only pay $15 an hour. Even though they can only pay $16 an hour. And you know what? For 60 more bucks a week, because a lot of people don't take the time to do the math on shit, right? Like, when you think about the difference between $16 and $20, right? That's $4 an hour. $4 times 8 hours is $32. You understand? Multiply that by 5 days. So for $100, somebody can get you to not work for your culture and come work for their systems. You feel what I'm saying? This is a big problem in the black community. We don't value ownership enough to put each other in positions to win. If black people aren't willing to work for other black people, there will never be any black people that can employ other black people. And there's always outliers. There's the me's of the world. There are other people who are just like me or above me in terms of business success, or people that have achieved more in their lifetime. You feel what I'm saying? There's a lot of great black entrepreneurs, but at the end of the day, it's made harder for us to be successful because we don't have enough cultural pride to see the importance of putting each other first. And it's hard for black men to see another black man above them, right? And see the value of, it's better for me to work under this black man than it is for me to go outside of my culture, because we have no culture. So that is what leads us to point number two. Point number two is that we value money over anything. How many black people understand, though, people of color in general, they don't understand that by valuing money over everything, that's the reason why we don't have any money. Because when it boils down to it, somebody could pay you to go against your own. Somebody can pay you to work outside of your culture as long as it pays you and your family. But fuck every other black family, right? We have lost the idea behind having a bigger picture for our culture in America. And we've been reduced down, right, to sex objects, right? Women want to know, if you want sex from me, I want you to pay my rent, pay my bills, but there's no love in it. We don't ever connect just as black people anymore, where it becomes something outside of what we can get from each other. Right. And if black people don't learn how to instead say, it's not about what we can get from each other, it's what can we get for each other. Because to some degree, if black people are not willing to put other black people in positions of power, we're not going to have any power, folks. We're going to be in the same position that we're in because we're not willing to work for us. Do you think that somebody from another culture is going to work harder to make you successful than they're going to make themselves? We're the only people, we're willing to put in 60, 70-hour weeks as long as it comes with a big paycheck, working for the same system that oppresses us. Let's keep talking about it. Black people in America don't understand that you cannot uproot a system you were raised in. Black American culture is just American culture. You cannot overturn a system if you don't have your own language. See, black people don't have cultural identity because we don't have a language in America. So every other group, right? Mexicans speak Spanish, Filipinos speak Tagalog. You feel what I'm saying? All other races who are immigrants in America, they immigrated here with their culture intact. So since their culture was intact, any other race of people can stand in a group of 20 people from another race and have a private conversation. We can't even be from up under our oppressor's thumb because we speak our oppressor's language. You understand what I'm saying to you? Which makes us devalue ourselves because we don't see ourselves as a part of a group of ideas and principles. We don't see ourselves anymore as a part of a culture or community. We have bought into the American monetary value system. We care about money and nothing else. And as a result of that, we've lost our soul. And this is how we get separated, right? I'm writing a book right now called Dear Black Woman. And I talk about my history growing up and how that affected my outlook on black women in general. And I know that from an opposite feminine perspective, black women also have those kinds of sentiments towards black men. Because from my personal experience, I grew up relatively regular. I wasn't rich, I wasn't poor, I didn't starve, you feel what I'm saying? But I had to work for things. I had a job at 16, whatever the case may be. But what I realized, and this is a part of how America has scammed us into diluting our culture because we don't have a culture, right? So what ends up happening is everyone else can see who we are but us. We're the only ones that are blind to who we are. So when you're younger as a black male, the people who are the most interested in the black kid that's in the library reading books or trying to empower himself with knowledge so that he can actually be the difference, right? That the world wants us to see, or that black culture in America wants to see. They want to see the black males that run engineering companies. They want to, and at least this is what they claim they want to see. They claim they want to see black men in positions of power operating legal business enterprises, able to be employers in the community like every other race in the world, right? But what ends up happening is that young kid that is trying to make a difference and he goes a different route, the people who are paying attention to that black boy that's reading books and worried about going to school and worried about doing the right thing are all of the women outside of his culture, because all the other races of women, their primary concern is going to be they want to get access to that black man before he discovers who he is, church. When we start talking about real shit, let me make it, the only real racial ally that blacks have in America are Filipinos, racially, as a group. I'm not saying that there's not other races of people who are or I'm not saying that there's not other races of individuals who have been allies to the black cause. But at the end of the day, we have to start seeing the value in ourselves. See, when I was younger, because I'm a late bloomer. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't hustling. I wasn't doing everything that I needed to do as far as seeing the world's full picture. When I was younger, I was more focused on the white collar stuff. I was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was reading books about real estate. I was reading books about self-development and real estate, and trying to figure out how I'm going to get myself out of a situation from having to listen to other people to being fully independent. You follow what I'm saying? And what I realized is, it's like what the Bible says, how can you gain the whole world and lose your own soul? What does that mean? This is for black men and black women. A lot of times, our counterpart, black women, they'll rather go get in a G-Wagon with somebody outside of our race. Because not only is he afforded a privilege that makes it easier for him to attain things that represent physical monetary wealth, but he desires the black woman more. She's a object of sexual desire. They look at the black woman as on a pedestal when it comes to women, and people don't understand that the world is attracted to black women. But if black women close that door and say culture is more important than what bag you could get me today, what car you could get me today, because that car could be crashed, that bag could be stolen, but our culture is not something that comes and goes. Our culture is what the next generation of blacks are going to experience in this country. And all they have to do is get one black man to have a baby that's not all the way black. I know I'm talking about some stuff that's gonna make people feel, oh man, is he racist? I'm not racist at all. But it's only when it comes to black people talking about protecting their culture and safeguarding their culture that anybody has a problem. Nobody has a problem with white people saying that they want to have white babies. They should. They're white, right? If you have children, you want your children to reflect your genetic makeup. This is natural selection. You understand? And in America, because America is so easy in first world, we have lost our point of view is warped about how the world really functions because we're so rich here. It's a country where, you feel what I'm saying, that runs on debt. So people will believe that these people who are driving these Maybachs, these Rolls Royce trucks, these are all people who are using debt instruments, right, to be in these cars. These cars ain't paid for. These cars are owned by the bank. So the value of a man can never boil down to the physical representation of what a woman can see. Because the things that purchase those items are the discipline, the knowledge, and the drive and ambition to get things done, right? When you have those three things, Your lifestyle is something you create, and the hard work purchases the items. It's not the other way around. The items don't make the man. The man purchases the items. So we're losing our order in understanding the importance of things. And I wanted to make a video today just reminding you guys, just reminding black people that at the end of this, all we have is each other, because their plan is this. You can phase out blackness in 10 generations. If I have a baby with a woman who's not black, let's say that a woman's white, right? I have a white baby mom. I have no problem telling people this is the case, but this is what happens. Now we have mixed kids, right? So those kids are not 100% black. Those kids are half black, half German, and all the other different things that they're mixed with. You feel what I'm saying? So then that generation moves along and says, okay, well, Dad, you know what? I like white girls too. Nothing wrong with people being attracted to people from different races. But at the end of the day, in 4 generations, let's say my son, he's light skinned, you know what I'm saying? He's half black. If he goes out and let's say that he wants to marry a white girl, okay, now that baby that they have is a quarter black. So in 3 generations, they can make black people extinct. But when we know who we are and we fully understand what the assignment is in a congruence with safeguarding our culture, now we can protect our culture again because we have knowledge of self. So I just want you guys to digest some of what I just shared with you on this video. I know that everything wasn't, you know, as thoughtfully organized as it could have been. You understand? I didn't plan to do this video today, but I wanted to talk to my people real quick today to let you know that the world is at war against you. And if you think anything differently, you're crazy. Let's get it together, black people. Let's figure out what we need to do so that our culture as a group starts to move back into a positive direction. Because the further we get apart from each other, there won't be any blackness left. Do we hate ourselves? If we allow ourselves to be diluted, is that self-hatred? That's why everything is a trick, because think about it. When white people told us in the 1950s and 60s, I don't want you with white girls, that's not racism. But because you felt like that woman was something that you didn't have, they tricked you into desiring something that was never for you. You feel what I'm saying? It's not about racism. But all races that have cultural integrity want to marry inside their own race. They want to procreate inside of their own race because they have a pride about who they are. And that's the difference between America and other countries. America is the country of ignorance, folks. You know why? In America, America is the only country where non-melanated people are white and melanated people are black. Those are 2 colors, or the absence of color. In other countries, you're German. In other countries, you're Nigerian, you're Jamaican, you're Ghanaian. And Ghanaians don't feel like because Jamaicans have the same skin as them, that they're the same tribe. See, we've lost our tribal mentality, the understanding of what it means to be a part of us. A culture. What does it mean to have culture? So think about that today, guys. I hope that I sparked some thoughts happening within the community today when I post this video. Thank you guys for watching so much. If you guys aren't watching, I'm about to be coming with a lot of more videos like this one over the next week. So please hit the follow button on my Instagram, DB the Prophet. Find me on YouTube at DB the Prophet. And, you know, I'll post some shit in the description or underneath the video and, you know, some other shit so I can give you guys where to find me and where you're going to be finding this content at. But hey, have a beautiful day, black people. I love you so much, and it's time for us to love us. All right, I'm gonna see you guys on the next video. Peace out.